and throughout the world. It's football time in Tennessee.
Yo, what it do, everybody? Welcome back to another weekly episode of the Vols ATB podcast. Got my boys Drew and Big Shot Rob back here for another weekly banger. We got a lot to talk about. Obviously, Tennessee walked into Lexington, got a big road dub, 2 back-to-back dubs. Super impressive. You know, coming home this weekend, homecoming, first time back in Neyland after the last 2 weeks. Going to be a jam-packed weekend. We have a lot to talk about, man, from the Vols and the football and the basketball is getting it started in the exhibition games. First off, though, Drew, Rob, how you guys doing today?
Man, I can't complain one bit. I mean, we'll definitely do a deep dive on that Kentucky game, but man, that was a huge gutsy win from that team, especially from guys like Joe and Dylan Sampson in the fourth quarter as well. And man, we'll also talk about later tonight with Tennessee basketball, but things are looking good, man, for the Vols basketball program especially. But yeah, I can't complain one bit.
Man. Likewise, man. I'm doing good, man. Can't complain. Let's get this show on the road, baby. Let's do it. Got a lot to talk about.
Man, obviously a super big win in Lexington. First, shout out to Vol Nation, man. They traveled well. Thought that played a huge factor. But, you know, Tennessee went into this game defensively. They said, you know, we're going to let Devin Leary throw the ball all over us. But whatever we're going to do, we're going to stop the run game. And they did just that. Obviously, Tennessee's run defense showed up. A lot of us had to hold our breath from the passing attack, but I think the coaching staff, they were 100%. Tim Banks was set on stopping the running game, man. Like, they did not care. They wanted Devin Leary to prove that he could beat us because of how he's been all season. Like Drew said, though, man, we have to talk about that fourth quarter. Joe Milton and Dylan Sampson, man. Crazy performance. Jalen Wright, I guess, was banged up, Heupel said. Dylan Sampson comes into the role, a huge SEC game, which we haven't seen all year, him be in that role. And, man, we have to talk about, like, the performance he had. He put the team on his back and carried us to a victory in the fourth quarter. Just absolutely insane. I think Dylan Sampson, man, like, it's just crazy. Like, he's everything we thought he would be.
It was impressive, you know. I mean, that was a must-win situation for Tennessee. And I think I know all of us predicted last week that we were going to blow them out of the water, but I think we had that fear with this being a 7 p.m. kickoff, being a night game in Lexington, that was going to be closer than what all of us anticipated for. But, dude, unbelievable performance from Dylan Sampson. We would not have won that football game if it wasn't for him. And mad freaking props, man, to Joe with the decision-making. I thought when he was given the opportunity, he played at a very high level. And, man, that third down, that crucial third down that he had with about a minute and a half left and getting that first down, running out of the pocket and getting that 6 yards, that was incredible. I mean, that was impressive. I mean, I think, you know, that shows volumes of, like, he's finally getting more and more comfortable running with his feet as well, which we've all been kind of hoping for a while. But, I mean, you know, anytime you beat the hell out of those damn coal miners, I mean, it's a great day.
Yet somehow people still find a way to complain about Joe. But anyway, man, that was a good win for the Vols. Let the record show I was the only one not freaking out Saturday. Our group message was humming, but your boy was calm. I knew we was going to get the dub. It started snowing outside. I said, God has brought the feelings in the air, baby. Tennessee's not losing tonight. Honestly, all seriousness though, man, I didn't think there was any way possible Tennessee lost this game. I knew it was going to be close. You know, that it's Kentucky. It's a rivalry game. Say what you want to say. I know Tennessee's won 36, last 39, whatever, but it's still a rivalry game at the end of the day. So, you know, they were going to bring it. And that's exactly what they did. I don't think anyone anticipated Buddy throwing all over the defense the way he did, but it's two things that was very clear. One, Tennessee wanted them to pass the football, which they did. And two, Tennessee missed Kamal Haddon. That was very obvious. Also, let the record show that is 2 weeks in a row, aka 8 quarters, that the opposing team that Tennessee has been facing has not been called for a live ball penalty. I know penalties aren't everything, but I say that because everyone wants to bitch and complain about Ramel Keaton getting that catch. I don't give a shit, all right? Tennessee has had zero holding calls go in their favor in the last 2 weeks, and finally Tennessee gets the referees in their favor, and all of a sudden college football is mad about it. Shut the hell up. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I know.
No.
I know we are robbed like on that side of the ball, but if anyone's robbed like specifically, man, Tyler Barron every week, man. If it's not Alabama and especially this game in Lexington, man, like my man is getting choked out, and I definitely think that his numbers are skewered because of the amount of sacks he would have. He'd probably be up there at the top of the conference. This, the way like it was a little questionable, but I think the defense got there when they needed to be when it was clutch time. But I did have some concerns about the defensive line pressure. And then like the DBs, man, it was definitely something that you could tell the difference. Tennessee tried to rotate the young guys in there. I think freaking Ricky Gibson went into one play and got concussed on the same play. Like it was just a game where you had to have
is dealing with an injury.
Yeah,
Danico Slaughter is not 100%. So the secondary is banged up, and it's obvious, but they still found a way to win, and that's what matters, man.
Someone I was really impressed with that's like a little sleeper during this year is T-Mac, man. I think he had a really, really important game with the safety position and has had a lot of clutch plays. But Drew, I mean, this is a game that it was a nail biter, but I think, everything went the right way. I think I give the coaching an A+ on this game just because of how they schemed this game up.
I mean, I would agree with that too. I mean, I think everyone, I mean, myself included, like had a lot of questions when it came to the defense performance on Saturday. I know the whole entire plan was to have Larry throw the football and make him win the game. I just kind of wish we would stop playing this soft zone defense as often as we do. But I do understand as to why they did that, though.
Tell me why.
Because they're trying to make. I mean, they know that if they played man-to-man, you got that possibility of our guys getting burnt deep, right? And also as well, I mean, you're leaving the holes open for the running back to be able to break out for a large play too. So, I mean, I get that. It's just I kind of wish we would just have more trust and faith in our secondary, but I would also understand because of the loss of Kamal Haddon, that's exactly why we kind of went down that
even
route.
Before the loss of Kamal Haddon. What are you talking about?
You lost
because we played
top five
because we played way more aggressive in that second half against Florida. I mean,
listen. Tennessee has not been able to play man defense since 2005. All right. Just going to call a spade a spade. That's 2005 was 2005 or 6 was like the last year Tennessee was actually able to play man to man all night in the secondary. And since Josh Heupel's been here, or Tim Banks, shall I say, they don't run man because they can't. Yeah. They don't have the guys. So I understand it. I get it. It's annoying. It pisses me off just as well. But at the end of the day, you got to go recruit, man. You got to go recruit and get those guys, and hopefully this weekend coming up, the young guys can get in and get some burn, man. Handle business at the first quarter, halfway through the second quarter, handle business, get Nico in, get Ricky Gibson in if he's not concussed, get Jordan, Jordan in, both Jordans at that. Just get all the guys in you can get in, man. This Tennessee has not performed well this year outside of Virginia against the slouch team, so they haven't been able to get in the younger guys a whole lot. So I'm hoping this weekend they're able to do that, man, because these guys need it. They need the experience. They need to play. They need to get on the field, man.
I think this is a big weekend for guys like Jeremiah Thielander, Caleb Herring, just get young guys all around that haven't got their feet wet. John Slaughter, a lot of the 2022 and 2023 guys that you have to see what they got going into next year, man. It's that time of the year where if you're in that situation where you can, take some guys out, go ahead and get some time. It's going to be interesting to see, man. A really, really big homecoming. What, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, I think actually this homecoming game actually comes at a perfect time as well. Because, I mean, as Rob mentioned, we still got a lot of guys defensively that are beaten up with, whether if it's Slaughter, a couple others, Judy Waddy and Gibson. And this gives a perfect opportunity where, I mean, we're playing a god-awful UConn team where a lot of those freshmen could be able to gain. No. There's no end. They are garbage.
They're not good. They're 1-7, but their games, like I know they're playing Boston College and South Florida, like not really good opponents, whatever. But it's been like one score, 3-point games. So like they could definitely be like 4-3, 3-4, whatever. But this is a team that's obviously UConn last year. Like this team there's nowhere near competing with a team like Tennessee. Like it's just
Brando. They're ranked both outside the top 100 for total defense and total offense, as well as scoring defense and scoring offense. Well, this is not a good football team, but this will be a perfect opportunity for a lot of our freshmen, including Nico, hopefully in the second half to be able to get some live reps, get that game experience, and that will be valuable, especially going into next year. But I do want to mention, though, for all the Joe haters out there especially, some of the comments I saw on Twitter during the game was just absolutely ridiculous. And I don't think a lot of people realize Joe's performance on Saturday, he actually had the highest completion percentage in a game since Josh Dobbs in 2016, completing 86% of his passes. I mean,
That can't be
17
true.
to 20.
That can't be true. There's no way
Yeah,
you're
it is
telling
true.
the
All
truth.
Facebook told me Joe Milton was ass.
That can't be true, Drew. You've got to be lying, bro.
Let's just.
I see every single day that Joe Milton is just hot garbage. That's what I see every day. Everyone keeps saying it, so there's no way you're telling the truth right now. You just can't be.
I know it's hard to believe, Rob, and I know
It's very hard to
for some
believe.
of our
My timeline says put Nico in. I don't know.
Exactly.
So
it's almost like Tennessee 6-2, but everyone wants to see Nico.
It's almost like Tennessee's 3 seasons under Josh Heupel. Like the last 3 seasons have been like the best 3 seasons since 2007. I mean,
it's almost like no one knew that Joe Milton just got healthy. Let me let you guys in on a secret. Let me tell you something that y'all don't know about, since y'all are just I'm not gonna use that word. Since y'all are just naive to it. All right. That UTSA game, that was not Joe Milton's first injury. It was not. Joe Milton was dealing with ribs as well, which is why Joe Milton wasn't running at the beginning of the season. Joe Milton just got healthy. Joe Milton, I don't know if he's 100%, but I think the best Joe Milton has felt was last week at 2 weeks ago at Alabama. I think that's the best he's felt all season long. And you can see that he's healthy. You can see it. He's trucking defenders, running them over. He's very decisive. Also, did you guys notice what Tennessee did Saturday that they haven't really done all season? And Joe Milton looked great. What did he do? What did they do? They went tempo, and Joe Milton looked pretty damn good.
Might be a correlation.
I'll say this, Rob.
I'm just saying.
Definitely.
I'm just saying.
Definitely would have liked to have an extra touchdown or two, but 17 for 20, 227 passing yards, the 1 TD to Nimrod that was just absolutely like a beautiful ball. And on top of that, man,
I think goated. I want some Burger King.
Facts. But on top of that, man, I think just to break it down offensively to begin with, the first drive, Tennessee goes out there 3-and-out Kentucky, and they try to stopped them. What they do, they started running their offense. They got the offense going the first drive, which is definitely critical with how Heupel, scripts his plays. Jalen Wright got his feet moving. I think that definitely opened it up for Joe, man. But the help that Joe also had, it wasn't just from Squirrel White. Obviously, the huge bomb to Chaz Nimrod that he was going to win that route regardless if the guy fell or not. That was super impressive. And then finally having a guy, Dante Thornton, showing up, I think that was his beginning to breaking out game. I think
it's almost like they put him to the outside where he's comfortable.
Yeah, he got that one, put him outside, let Squirrel White get the first block. And, those screen passes with Thornton, man, that was something that I really enjoyed seeing. But on top of that, I think Dante, that ball from Joe to Dante, cross body behind the receipt, the corner, you really just can't throw the ball.
Telling you guys, man. Joe Milton is finally healthy, okay? And I know every single week I get on here, I'll tell y'all to shut the hell up about Joe Milton. And I'm going to keep saying it. Shut the hell up about Joe Milton, bro. He's fine. He's fine. If they wanted to make a change, they would make a change. They're not going to. Joe is what we got. Joe is the best at the position, what we have for this football team. Get over it. Joe Milton's the quarterback.
The team is at a great position right now. We're 6-2 after 8 games, which, mind you, this is the first time in back-to-back seasons where Tennessee has gotten 6 wins or more by the end of October since 98-99. Only a casual 25 years since that's happened. But, man, I mean,
what is Tennessee's record in the last 25 games, Drew? Do you know? Do you have any idea?
I'm gonna say
if I'm not mistaken, it's 21-4. I think it's
what? Stop lying, Drew. Drew, my timeline tells me that Josh Heupel got to go. That's what my timeline tells me.
I know.
So I don't know. Maybe me and you just looking at different things or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
You know what's even funnier, man?
Numbers are lying to us. The numbers are clearly lying to us.
I don't know if y'all saw the video, but if you haven't yet, Baltimore, I know he posted it and it's making its way around now. Kentucky, when we came out for our away game, we came out their opposing tunnel. They tried to legit sit in front of us, man, of our tunnel. Kentucky players were out there in front of them, and while Joe and everyone's running out, shooting the arrow, they were just trying to, poke the bear. And I think it's kind of funny how it kind of played out, man, because Tennessee, they really did not let up. offensively, man, like they're doing this. Joe's finally hitting his full stride. On top
The
of
score
that,
was close, but the game was never in worry,
like
in my opinion.
Joe is hitting his full stride right now, but the running game is still like, if not one of the best in the country right now. Jalen Wright and Dylan Sampson. I think Wright had 11 carries for 120 before he got banged up, and Dylan Sampson came in, and I think he had a career high in carries. I don't think he broke 100 yards, but I mean, what he did was definitely enough in the fourth quarter, man. Like, no one's breaking off like that, like on a shovel pass and getting a first down and like doing the things that he did. Like, someone else has to show me they can do that, because the way that Dylan Sampson refused to go down and refused to lose that game, it was just.
Shout out to Austin Price. I'll give Austin Price his credit right quick. He said that because we were all wondering where the hell Jalen Wright was. Jalen Wright had a little foot deal. He could have went back in and played, but D-Samp was going crazy, so there was no need to put him back in. He took over the game. He should be good to go this weekend. Like I said, shout out to Austin Price over at On 3 Ball Quest. But yeah, that's why Jalen Wright wasn't playing, if you guys are wondering.
Which, I mean, it makes sense. And not to mention, when you got a guy that's just consistently getting
you got to keep the hot hand. I mean, but the unfortunate part is they both had the hot hand. Exactly, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. So you really couldn't have went wrong with whoever you put in there. But D-Samp had his breakout moment. He did. And he did it in wonderful fashion on the road at Kentucky. Stoops, I love you. But you just can't beat Tennessee, man. You just can't, bro. And I will say this out loud as well to make Kentucky fans feel better. Kentucky, you guys are to us what we are to Florida. All right. It doesn't matter how bad Florida is. It doesn't matter if they have 11 blind people on the field. Tennessee just finds a way to lose to Florida. I don't know why, but it happens. Kentucky, same way. You're coming off of a bye week. Your passing game looked the best it's looked all season. Your quarterback looks like a Heisman contender. You had 2 weeks to prepare for Josh Heupel. 2 weeks, and you still couldn't win at home, even with that bullshit smoke show. Let's talk about that. First of all, how is that
legal, man?
How?
Our
players literally couldn't see.
Man. Like,
they couldn't.
I really thought, like, I don't even know,
like
man.
That's not even fair.
It looked like my old Friday Night Lights high school days in like November.
That's
man.
ridiculous.
Like,
that's ridiculous. And they knew what they were doing. They do.
My whole entire thing about that too is like, the SEC wanted to fine us for us throwing a mustard bottle on the field against Ole Miss 2 years ago, but literally Kentucky, you couldn't even see the field. The players literally affected the play of the game. And
it was blurry on damn TV, man.
Exactly.
Kentucky fans were so upset that in the upper deck they started hitting women. Like, be better. That's all I got to say. That was just awful to see.
I will say this, not to get too off topic, but to go back to our running game. I mean, they had over 250 rushing yards, which was pretty extraordinary again. I think this is the third or fourth game of the year where we've had over 200 rushing yards altogether. But this is, I mean, I think y'all will be interested about this stat. Tennessee is the only team in college football right now with 3 or more running backs averaging 5 yards a carry.
Yeah, I mean,
that can't be possible. That can't be possible.
I know. Hard to believe.
Drew, you got to stop lying to these people, man, because I swear to God, Tennessee's like 1-7 right now. There's just no way. Tennessee has to be 1-7. You're lying to me.
Trust me. I mean, it's very hard to believe, but Jalen Wright is averaging 7 yards a carry, which is the best in the SEC.
That's crazy.
Dylan Sampson's averaging 5.7 yards a carry, and Jabari's averaging over 5 yards a carry.
I think they're all over 50 carries on the year as well.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure. Which is absolutely like so. Like the announcers are finally figuring out what we've already known the last 3 years, that Josh Heupel goes off the run game. But at the same time, like I think he's running the ball even more than he did like before, man. Even here or at UCF, like, and obviously that has a lot to depend on how our passing game was to start the season off. But I think that might kind of cool down with the confidence that did build in the passing game this last weekend. That showed me anything, man. Like full confidence. Not only did Dylan Sampson do that, but Joe Milton had to go out there and conduct that drive as well. And I thought that a lot of leadership and a lot of experience led to that victory. The running game, man, like not to get too ahead, but obviously this week for UConn is going to be a good week. I hope to see guys like, Cameron Sullivan and Khalifa Keith. But when it comes to Missouri and we're playing in Como, whether that's a 2:30 game or 3:30 game or a 7 o'clock game,
it's going to be a night game, right?
Yeah, they're going to give us a night game, and it's going to be cold as hell.
And you know why it's going to be a night game, right? You know why?
They hate us.
They want Tennessee to lose. They
Yeah.
do not want Tennessee to beat Missouri and somehow find a way to beat Georgia
It's
at home.
definitely
It's
a
not going to
test
happen.
with the rushing defense. I don't think Missouri's played anybody besides like really LSU, but
They can't stop a nosebleed.
yeah,
So.
yeah. They're only giving up 120 yards on the ground. I think Tennessee will have to get over that 200 plus yards to just feel comfortable. And not to look forward, but just another note, like Josh Heupel hasn't played them once and not dropped 60. So I definitely think it could be like a Big 12 shootout kind of game. But man, like just this last week, getting that win over Kentucky, it has the blueprint for the rest of the year. If things fall your way, miracles can happen. But at the same time, man, like you're 9-3, possibly going 10-3, and you have a chance to get back to a New Year's Six bowl or definitely a Florida bowl. You just got to finish.
I got a question, Brando.
What's that, Rod?
Before the Tennessee-Kentucky football game started Saturday, do you know who the number 2 rushing defense in the SEC was?
I'm gonna say Kentucky.
Oh, you're right. Correct. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh,
so here's what I want to know. I want to know if everyone else is noticing a trend that I notice. All right. So here we go. Drew, you've already spoke to how good the rush game is. Brando, so have you, right? All right.
Yes, sir.
So against A&M, what did Tennessee do?
Ran the fucking ball.
Rip them to shreds.
Against Alabama, first half. What did Tennessee do?
Rip them to shreds.
All right. Against Kentucky this past Saturday, what did Tennessee do?
They ran the ball.
All right. So let me ask you this question. Why is it that every time Tennessee runs all over a football team, all of a sudden, oh man, that defense wasn't that good. Of course, Tennessee was going to run the football. Where the hell is this coming from?
I don't know.
Every single time Tennessee is rushing for 200 plus yards, all of a sudden the defense sucks. I don't understand.
It's almost like that a game affects stats. And when that game affects the stats, those stats will change after that team plays them in that game. And it's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence that, Tennessee playing the number 1 rushing defense, they broke A&M, and then A&M fell down. We just broke Kentucky, and it seems like they're probably going to, their defense is, I don't know what the rankings are, but I'm sure it drops definitely on rush defense.
Yeah.
And I think, in 2 weeks, it's going to happen again in Coma, but,
Oh, bro, I forgot one. South Carolina coming into Tennessee, guess what? They had like 3 dudes on the defensive line that got like honors of the week for playing good football on the D line. But what did Tennessee do to them?
Ran the ball.
Nah, they defense sucks, man.
Jalen Wright was in a fucking Friday the 13th mask.
Their defense just sucks, Brando. Tennessee's supposed to be able to run the football on sorry ass defenses.
But it's just a gimmick offense, man. It's nothing real.
It is pretty comical. It is pretty comical to think though that we've been able just to run over against anyone, and not to mention the last 3 defenses that we've played. A&M, Kentucky, and Alabama. I believe all 3 are ranked in the top 3 as far as rushing defenses go. I think they're top 20 actually in the country as well, surprisingly. So
stop lying, Drew. They ain't good. They're not good enough to be top 20.
They're all terrible.
Tennessee ran on them. They can't be good because Tennessee had 250 rushing yards. They can't be. They can't be.
Of course. Everyone would know that this offense would not be able to score against the 2017 Tennessee team. We all know this team sucks. I mean, we all know 2023 Vols so overrated, so bad, so terrible. Yep. I mean, we'll be lucky to make a Music City Bowl or a Liberty Bowl this year. At this rate.
Back in Nashville. I'll meet y'all there, I guess.
I'll see y'all in Music City, man. Boycott the Music City Bowl,
man. If we go to Nashville.
All seriousness, though, man. I will say this. Josh Heupel, I owe you an apology. I've been pretty hard on you the last few weeks, but I think I'm starting to understand what you're doing. I know we're not happy about the play calling. I know we're not happy how things are going a little bit on the field sometimes, but I'm starting to understand that this team is identified as running the football. I don't like the 4th and 1 shorts. I don't like the 3 and 1 shorts, but I get it. 9 times out of 10, Tennessee is winning their matchups in the run game. And
hey, you know what's even crazier, man?
Yeah.
Like the offensive line is probably as healthy as we saw it all year, but this is not like as good as the offensive line can be, like we saw last year.
Mincy's like 50%.
Dude,
Mincy is playing on one leg,
he's
freaking
ice in every game.
He's crushing freaking cornerback coming off the edge. I mean, did you guys hear that crack when he came across the field. I'm like, bro, this guy is 50% playing on one leg right now. He's doing this, man. And Glenn Ellaby, I owe you an apology as well. I've been very hard on you from the recruiting side, but you are a damn good developer, Glenn Ellaby. So Josh Heupel, Glenn Ellaby, I've been hella hard on you. I've been talking cash, and I apologize. I'm gonna shut up. Every time Saturday, on 3rd and 1 short, I would text the group. Here comes a shit play call. We pick up the first down. That 3rd down where Joe ran for first down, I was like, well, I don't know we finna run here, but here comes a shit play call. Joe runs for the first down, So
John Campbell,
I'm gonna shut up. Hype, you shut me up. Ellaby,
it's not
you
even
shut
just
me up.
Campbell.
Do y'all
Like,
thing,
I don't know if y'all saw. Like Campbell, obviously co-offensive lineman of the week, but man,
Campbell has a sprained ankle and he was out there cracking dudes.
Man.
He came back in, man. He came back in and finished that game, man. Like the heart, like not only that, but McCastles, he didn't have a lot receiving wise, but Castles was laying some blocks, man. It was pretty crazy. Just all around, man. Like everyone has their own assignment, and if you complete that assignment in this scheme, man, it's gonna convert to success.
I mean, and my whole entire thing is like when you take into consideration, the things that this, program has gone through for the last couple months with, Cade Mays being out for the first 4 games of the year, Brew McCoy being out, for Coop. God, I always get both of them mixed up. But yeah, Cooper Mays being out for like first 4 games of the season, Brew being out with a season-ending injury, Kamal Haddon being out after Alabama, and not to mention Keenan Peely, which is arguably our best linebacker that we haven't seen outside of that Virginia game, being out for most of the year. The circumstances and the adversity of this program and Heupel and the staff has gone through, the fact that we are looking at a possibility, and granted it's very low possibility, but the possibility of winning 10 games this year is incredible. I mean, like, it speaks volumes on how well the staff coaches put ourselves in on opportunities to win football games, and the amount of talent that we lost from last year as well to still be able to win 9 or 10 games is a high possibility this year. It's impressive. I mean, I don't know how after, and I'm about to go on a rant. I don't know how after what we've dealt with the last 15 years, we're all of a sudden complaining about this. I mean, we had years where we were winning 3 games, went 3-7 in 2020, 4-8 in 2017, being 3-5, 4-4 every single damn year in conference play, hoping to God that we would win 6 games, beat Vanderbilt and Kentucky so we can play in the Music City Bowl again. And all of a sudden we're complaining about being 6-2 and being in the top 20 in the college football ranking, and people are recognizing us again. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And I mean, it's just unbelievable.
I thought 17 was more fair than 19. Obviously, the college football rankings are out now, so we don't have to worry about the AP poll every week. So I'm sure Vol Facebook will still look at the AP poll for whatever reason. But, not to look back past, UConn again, but in like 2 weeks' time, like if everything falls our way this weekend after a win against UConn, and even if Missouri loses, I still think that we're talking about, like, they're number 12 in the country right now. I still think we're talking about a top 15 matchup in the college football playoff rankings when we go to Como in 2 weeks, which is like crazy because I would not have had Missouri in that spot. But like the potential, like just because we're 17 now doesn't mean like with a few more wins that Tennessee can't skyrocket themselves from their previous mistakes this season. Like everything.
You know what gets me, Brando? So on Twitter, our fan bases, do they or do they not rip Alabama fans for being spoiled, rip Clemson fans for being spoiled, rip Georgia fans for being spoiled? Oh man, you got all these national championships in the last few years and you're complaining, blah blah blah. We're doing the same thing, and exactly. I say we collectively because we're Vol fans. I don't do it, but you guys are sitting here bitching at other fan bases about being spoiled or not being grateful, but you guys are doing the same exact thing. You literally are doing the same exact thing. That is very hypocritical. Make it make sense to me. You can't talk about other fan bases doing it while you're doing it. I mean, I'm pretty positive Clemson would love to be 6-2 right now. I can guarantee you that after Dabo's rant,
dude. Oh my God!
I guarantee you, bro. Like, I mean, come, what are we doing?
And I'm so glad you said it, too. And like people, it seems like our fan base tends to forget this. You realize that Clemson's won 2 national titles in the last 7 years, right? 2 national titles,
7-10 win seasons.
And y'all want to call this man Butch Jones 2.0? That's disrespectful.
And
It's like, what?
if there's any fan base in college football right now that should be irate and pissed off and angry about the fall of their program this season, it's 1,000% Clemson. I mean, like they were on the eclipse of being the new Alabama. They were there. I mean, they were competing for national championships every single year. Last year, had they not lost, to South Carolina, they would have been in the college football playoff. And they're 4-4. I mean, we're 6-2 for God's sake. And like our only bad loss is Florida. And I'm sorry, no one wants to admit it, but all deep down inside, we kind of knew we were losing that game. We always lose to Florida. We should not have this expectation until otherwise proven the other way. So I mean, like, it's just unbelievable.
The only thing, like, I was so happy Saturday night, right after beating Kentucky and Lexington, but the one thing in my mind was like, damn, man, if Dylan Sampson played against Florida.
No. Dylan Sampson would not matter. The reason why we lost that game was because we did not have Cooper Mays and Gerald Mincey out there. Okay, we were absolutely depleted on the offensive line. We had zero shot in that game, whether people want to admit it or not, and especially some of the questionable penalties that we had towards our way on very convincing plays over there in the second half. It killed our shot of having any opportunity to come back. But we didn't deserve to win that game. We were down 26-7 at one point. So only thing you can do is just move the hell on. This is not a new thing when it comes to Tennessee football. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that Peyton Manning lost all 4 games against Florida. So I don't know why all of a sudden this is a huge deal. So I really don't.
Say, Drew.
You don't. Wow. The sheriff lost.
You don't say.
And
my man got a whole street named after him.
You got a whole Monday Night Football show, man. Fuck.
No disrespect to Peyton Manning at all, but my man never beat Florida, never won a national championship, and got his own street at the University of Tennessee.
Exactly.
The whole point of this is, guys, Florida is just we just suck against Florida, man.
Exactly.
That's all it is, but it's football. It happens. At the end of the day, you can be pissed off all you want to. You're still gonna watch. You're still gonna buy tickets. You're still gonna go to the game. Enjoy it while you can, man.
They're still gonna buy tickets, Rob.
You're still gonna go.
12 a.m. kickoff, 12 noon against the UConn for homecoming.
12 p.m.
Yeah, so whatever.
Don't tell me it's a sellout, Brando.
It's gonna be 35 degrees come kickoff, and it's sold out. 100.
It can't be no sellout, bro. All these people saying they not watching this team no more because
101-915, man. Like, it's just gonna be crazy.
Man,
I'm kind of hyped about this weekend, man, because all the people that like wait all year for these kind of games they can afford to go to, like genuinely want to be there. Like, they want to be loud, they want to be crazy. And I think a lot of kids gonna get their first experience. We got a lot to talk about, Vols basketball wise, but I think we can all agree that this week is a much, rest the guy, get guys going, get their reps in. Look forward to Missouri next week. See a lot of young guys, a lot of young talent. I'm just, excited to be back in Knoxville, man. Like 2 weeks, I didn't go to any of the road games. Excited to be at this one. And I want to get your guys' final comments and a score prediction before we hop into basketball and what you kind of expect from Tennessee coming this weekend. Because I think, obviously we want to, a blowout win, but like what's, something important that y'all want to see that Tennessee needs to improve on before going to Como?
I mean, I just want to see Nico to be able to get some live reps in the second half and get some opportunities to throw the football and run the offense as well. I know he's had a couple opportunities in Virginia and UTSA, but he wasn't really able to give him the opportunity to be able to, showcase his arm talent and what he's capable of and what, this NIL collective is paid for on being the future of the program for the next couple of years. So I'm hoping he'll be able to have some opportunities. I'm hoping some guys like, Cam Selton as well and a few other freshmen defensively, especially be able to get some live game reps. I think it's just some valuable experience that this team needs for, the future down the road as well. But I think it's going to be 52-10. That's my prediction. I think, we'll probably be like 28-6, 21-6 at halftime, take it away from the third quarter. And Nico will probably get a full fourth quarter in, and my bold prediction is that he'll throw his first touchdown as a ball on Saturday.
I think that's what most people want to see is that him, getting the checkerboard, whether it's a rushing touchdown or a passing touchdown, just any live action to get these guys off the ledge going into next season. Because if not, like, we can go 10-2 and beat Georgia, but they're going to be like, Nico didn't get any reps. Nico wasn't ready. Nico ain't ready. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. So I think definitely what has to be critical is the O-line, whatever O-line is, protecting him, they have to be critical. Because what we saw against UTSA, man, that one sack, I was like, all right, go ahead, take him out, get him out of here. Like,
this is what I want to see, man. I want to see two players But there's something I want to see on top of these two players.
Jordan
I
Matt.
want to see Nico play, and I want to see Cam Selden play. But
Mhm.
I
Want to see them
don't
play
want to
together.
see them play if they're not behind the first team offensive line. I just don't. All right. The second and third team offensive line, no disrespect to them, but they just can't protect Nico and they can't block for Cam Selden. So every time they come in, it's just a 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, man. And I don't want to see that. Put Nico in with the ones, man. Put Cam Selden in with the ones, even if it's just 2 snaps,
It
whatever
might
the
be
case
like
may be. Get Nico one drive in with the one, see how it goes. If it doesn't go well, whatever the case may be, that's fine, cool. Then you bring out your second team. But realistically, we can't expect Nico to come out here and do anything behind the second and third string offensive line when the other team
Yeah.
still has their ones in. That's not fair to him.
like that's what I
It's
was
just not
saying.
fair at all, man. And I hate
Obviously,
that.
this game ain't gonna be close, but like how like I was telling Drew, like this is a team that like wants to compete, even though like they're not really great. And I don't think they're just gonna lay down for us when we put Nico in as well. Like I think they're gonna definitely be trying to, play that. And whether how good their ones are or twos are, like they're definitely gonna be hungry. This is like probably the biggest stadium those UConn guys will ever play in. So definitely, a thing where you can just what
Well, like, all right. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, going back to your point of like them wanting to compete. Do you think like every team that like that's not an SEC team that comes here that's a lower tier FBS or an FCS team? Do you think they just show up to show up? Like that doesn't exclude them. Like put them in a different category than everyone else. Like I'm pretty sure Austin P came here to compete. I'm pretty sure UTSA came here to compete. You play the game to compete, dude. Like that's not. Yeah, they're going to be able to compete, but like this is not. Should not be a game where like we should have a worry in the world at any point, including the first quarter, even including the first drive or anything like that. So, I mean, like, I don't think this differentiates in any other situation. And this is just not a good football team. I mean, I know they went 6-7 last year, which is an extraordinary year for UConn, but they're 1-7. They're outside the top 100, both total defense and total offense. They're not a good football team. Like this should just be a game where we're worry free, and a lot of our backups and third stringers get a lot of valuable playing time. I mean,
those
no
two guys.
disrespect to UConn. No
Yeah.
disrespect to UConn at all whatsoever.
I agree though with Rod, like the Nico and Cam Sutton, man. I really do want to see them together. Like I want to see Nico, like how his flashes from the spring game that we were talking about, leading up to the season. Those two guys, like they rode everything together. I think Nico's first like 5 or 6 plays in the spring game were all to Cameron Sutton, or all involved Cameron Sutton. So I think those guys are definitely a pair. I know a lot of people are eager to see him, and I think this will be a game where Dylan Sampson and Jalen Wright might get a touchdown or two for themselves, and then you definitely see the young guys. Definitely excited to see a guy like Cameron Sutton, man. I think people forget he was like 6'2", 225, and as fast as lightning. So see some flashes from the spring game against real competition, and just obviously building on the future. I agree with Drew. I got the Vols scoring a 50 burger. I got 59-6.
I got 65-6.
Damn, a 60 burger.
Yes, I'm calling a 60 burger, baby. I think I'm not joking when I say this. I think the score at halftime is 45-3 or maybe 45-0. If it's not, cool, whatever. But that's why we make our own predictions, and that's why we have hypotheticals. It might sound crazy, but I don't give a shit.
It'll definitely be over the 30 mark, in my opinion, at halftime. There should be no reason they don't go out there and score 3 or 4 touchdowns against this defense. Like
but make no mistake, UConn is going to bring it. I'm not saying
they're not
it's going to
terrible,
be a close game, but UConn is going to bring it. So y'all just be ready for that. They're going to give it their all. I know they're not a good football team. I know they're 1-7. But these type of games, these guys always come out and play as hard as they can for the first couple quarters, and sometimes still to the fourth quarter, man. So, but you want to get in and get out, man. You don't want to get anyone hurt.
I'll say,
you just want to get in and get out.
Man, there's a lot of guys that whenever they get announced for the final time or the second to final time, because we do play Vanderbilt here, and after that. But I think there's a lot of guys that deserve their flowers, deserve their respects in this game when they get called, and we're gonna have a whole ceremony. I want people to kind of be in the stands, and whether it's Joe Milton or guys like John Campbell, et cetera, that you don't know if they're going to be back or not. Just the love, man. Like we do a lot of negative stuff, man. And like we kind of realize that with Kamal, with the whole booing thing. Like show up to this game, just be supportive, man. Like go out there and support this team. And even if it is like at 12 a.m., like I know a lot of people are excited to be there, and I'm sure there won't be 101 9:15 exact, but I think there's gonna be a lot of people eager to see Tennessee and these guys for one last time, or it's 2 last times. So just go out there, have fun, no injuries, and have a good day.
Yeah, man. But no disrespect to UConn, but let's shoot past this, bro.
Exactly.
Hey,
So-
look, I got 2 words for you before you even say it, Brando. You know what? You can
Here
say
you
it
go.
with me on 3. 1, 2, 3. Dalton, motherfucking connect, man.
Yeah, so I know Drew. This is his favorite part of the show, man. Man's been looking forward to basketball since like fucking week 1. Obviously, man. So in the last 7 days, the Vols had two charity exhibitions. That first one though didn't feel like no exhibition game. I think that felt like a fucking Elite Eight, Final Four, March Madness basketball game. We can kind of break them down. I don't even know where y'all want to start, but I'm just I'm pumped, man. I think this team
I'll tell you where I'm gonna start.
Is on fire, and I think we're gonna start with Michigan State. Drew, go ahead and lay the hammer,
dude. That atmosphere on Sunday in East Lansing, that was not a charity exhibition environment. That was a February, that was an early March home crowd advantage type of environment. It was electric in there. I mean, sold out, 16,000 people over there too. Pretty damn good for a quote unquote charity match. But man, we complained about last year. I remember one of our comments about the lack of offense that we had, especially in that loss in the Sweet 16 against FAU. I don't think we have to worry about that anymore with this basketball team.
If Ziegler doesn't tear his ACL, Tennessee wins that game. I stand on that.
I agree with that too. I agree with that too. I mean, there was a lot of variable factors that went into that loss, but certainly if Sakai was on there, he definitely would have been a 7-8 point difference maker in that game for sure. But man, you're talking about, a lot of our questions this past off season was that, are we going to get guys, from the transfer portal that'll make an immediate impact? Because, we've had some, fallouts with Justin Powell, Tyreke Key, just some guys where we were expecting a lot of, that they didn't, live up to the hype. And my God, I think Dalton Connect and Jordan Gainey both answered that pretty quickly, combined both for 48 points and 13 rebounds as well in that win over Michigan State, which, mind you, the same Michigan State team has the 4th best odds to win the national championship this year. This was a damn good basketball team.
I'll say this, man. It is a crime that Dalton Connect had to spend years at Portland State and go 10-22 or whatever the record was. And, props to this team pursuing him as soon as he entered the portal, getting a win over that. Like, I think that's going to definitely show to be like a huge pickup. But man, like Dalton Connect, even before the dunk, bro, like I was like, mark me down as a Dalton Connect fan on the Vols Twitter. I was just blown away, man, by his defense, his mindset, his IQ. And like we're talking about, Tennessee playing without their 2 veteran point guards, man. Jordan Gainey was just on fire to have a 3-point threat like that. And we're just now seeing that kind of break through. I think like not only is Tennessee going to be lethal at the perimeter this season, but the big guys, even though, we lost that Chris Ledlum from Harvard to St. John's. Like, I think I'm super excited where this team is down low as well.
There is so much talent on this team. I mean, in that win over Michigan State, they shot 51% from the 3-point line. Gainey went 4 for 7 from the 3, which is incredible. 6 and 10 the entire game. 52% from the field as well.
Started off 5 for 5 too.
Oh my gosh, dude! I mean, they went out. They started off the game, I believe, with 15-1 run.
Let me tell you something. when Jordan Gainey took his first 3 and it bounced, hit the back of the rim and went in the air and dropped in, I'm not lying to you. I said, "Oh, this is going to be a good shooting night for Tennessee," because you don't get those kind of breaks in basketball often. But when you do get that kind of break, that tells you what kind of night it's going to be. Now, let me go into where I'm finna
talk your shit, Rob.
Ruffle some feathers right quick.
Talk your shit.
First thing first, before I do that, guys, listen, okay? Do not expect Dalton Connect to do this every game, okay? The first game that he comes out and he only has like 9 points and a couple rebounds, you guys are gonna rip him to shreds. I'm telling you, don't do it. All right, please don't do it. The first bad game Jordan Gainey has, you guys are gonna rip him. Please don't do it, guys. It's basketball. These guys are collegiate athletes. To expect them to be at an NBA level every single night, which, mind you, NBA players aren't there every single night, is unrealistic, okay? All right, now that we got that out the way. Secondly, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care where you at. I don't care what you're talking about. Don't get your ass on Twitter and have the nerve to tweet that Michigan State did not take that basketball game serious. When I saw that tweet, bro,
dude,
I almost lost my.
Did you hear Izzo
mind.
and Barnes though?
Do y'all know who the hell Tom Izzo is? Like, are you kidding? The man is one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time, and you mean to tell me his team, who is preseason number 4, 4th best odds to win the national championship, you mean to tell me that his guys came out and didn't take that game serious at home in front of 15,000 people? Tennessee ain't that good. Michigan State just wasn't for real.
I would ask them, is Tom Izzo a liar then? Because him and Rick Barnes were on the headsets together talking about how like they wanted to get younger guys experience, but it's not every day in a blue moon that you get to this exhibition game and you get a chance to get your starters for the year, that kind of championship level experience, man. And I think that's exactly what happened. The level of competition on the court, like neither coach with their experience, they knew what was at stake and how valuable these minutes were. And if you think that they went in there in that environment and they didn't want to get a win for in their home court,
you, bro.
Like, I think you're just fucking crazy.
Guys, listen, bro. Let me tell you when I knew this basketball game was serious. Now, I'm not discounting the first half at all. The first half was great. Guys are going at it. But let me tell you when I knew this game was serious. All right. I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but they stopped subbing for real, for real. They subbed a little bit, but they stopped subbing, and there was no young players on the court. 0. Freddie DeLeon did not play the rest of the game once he came out second half. He didn't go back in. Don't tell me that this game was not serious, bro. I just don't understand why people want to shit on Tennessee so bad on everything they do. Like, I just don't get it. I understand you guys hate Tennessee. Everyone hates other fan bases. I get it. But to downplay the number 9 team in the country, going all the way to Michigan State and beating the number 4 team in the country on their home floor on a sellout against one of the greatest college coaches of all time, to tell me that they didn't take that game serious is a load of shit.
Did y'all see
if you are serious when you tweeted that, go play in traffic.
Oh my god! Did y'all see the tweet? Man, it was a Michigan State basketball fan and a Florida Gator football fan. And he was like, "This is Tennessee's Super Bowl. It's an exhibition game."
Why is every win all of a sudden a Super Bowl?
We have 3 Super Bowls in 3 weeks, man.
How does that work? You only play 1 Super Bowl a year, not 76. The hell?
Like my thing is like, if you're making the argument that they didn't take this game, either team didn't take this game seriously, just watch that last 20 seconds when Michigan State was playing full court press, mind you, off the inbounds play.
Bro,
literally diving for the ball
all night
trying
long.
To score.
They were playing full court press all night.
I mean, so you can't tell me they did not take that game seriously.
I think that's where my stomach. that last 2 to 3 minutes is where my stomach kind of turned because of what I've saw as in the last few years from the program and stuff, like games that we did not come out on top with. But at the same time, like we're playing a top 5 team in the country, a team that's definitely probably going to be in the Sweet 16, if not the Elite 8 in this next season. And like to get that kind of experience and that kind of praise from a Hall of Famer and Tom Izzo talking about this team is definitely an Elite 8 or Final 4 team. Like you don't just go into fucking East Lansing and walk out with a W like that when they're trying their hardest to have late game situations. Like it's practicing late game situations, but these guys are definitely eager to win the game. And like,
I'll just say this,
shout out
right?
to Rick Barnes, man.
Oh,
shout out to Rick Barnes, dude. Such a good
Rick
guy.
Barnes, absolutely.
He deserves it this year. He deserves it. I don't know if he's gonna get it, but God, please, he deserves it.
And I'll just say this when it comes to Tom Izzo's comments, right? You don't have a Hall of Famer coach every day saying that his opponent has the talent and capability and experience to play in a Final Four, play for a national championship. We didn't get Tennessee does not get those comments a lot from opposing coaches, right? The last time we really got those type of comments was when Grant and Admiral were here, right? So, I mean, when you have your opposing coaches saying like, hey, this is a top 5 team, this is one of the best teams in America, like that's not just to, compliment and make them feel good. I mean, that's a serious take. That's like an honest, genuine, like looked at opinion from a Hall of Famer. And you're going to see that all throughout the entire season. I mean, man, we got a lot of great games early on before even conference play. Starting off the second game of the year, we play at Wisconsin, which will be a great road environment matchup for Tennessee. And then you're talking about that following Monday, they go all the way to Maui to play Syracuse, with potentially playing either Purdue, who's by the way, preseason #1, and a top 10 Gonzaga team in that second round with the highest potential of playing in that final
Who
against
just
the
lost in overtime at
who just
Arkansas.
lost.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'll say in a perfect world, like Tennessee could have won by 7 to 8 points or whatever. Like they could have had a few more breaks, whatever. Like if people really want to complain about every little thing, but there's a lot of poverty SEC basketball programs out there, and like at halftime right now, South Carolina is losing to Wofford 34-17. Like there's a
Well, in South Carolina's fairness, they were preseason 14th in the SEC.
Yeah,
They
they're
are the worst
I
team in the
don't care.
conference by far.
You're an
They're
I don't
SEC
terrible.
care.
basketball team,
They're
right?
terrible.
No,
You're in the
you ain't
SEC.
supposed to be losing this game.
You're supposed to be SEC, bro. What the
I
fuck?
got I got
Well,
a story for y'all though. I have a story for y'all, and this is
Story
what I
time with
mean
Big Shot Rob.
when I say Rick Barnes deserves it, man. If you guys don't know about this, I'll go ahead and tell you guys about it so you can go see it. There's a YouTube page called Sevier Heights, Sevier Heights. So that's the name of the YouTube page. But Rick Barnes went to a church a few weeks ago, October, or like last week or 2 weeks ago, October 24th. Shout out to my guy Ben McKee at Go Vols 247. He sent this to me. He sent me the video of Rick Barnes, and he said, I'll read you the message. He says, Rick Barnes spoke at a church event tonight. I can't recommend enough going back and listening. All right, so I'm going to tell you one story from that because I went back and watched it, but I highly recommend everyone goes and watches it, man. Rick Barnes is such a good person. But I could talk about it forever, but I'll make it a short story. Long story short, one day, Rick Barnes realized that at some point in his coaching career that he was a little bit too much to his players. And he went back to those players back at I don't remember exactly what school it was off the top of my head, but it's basically when he first got into coaching. And he apologized to his players. And his players was like, Coach, like chill, you good, you was coaching us. And Rick Barnes said, no, I apologize to you guys because I did things the wrong way and I'm sorry. I want to fix our relationship. And he basically spoke to saying that he did a little bit too much with his players, cussing, all this and all that. And he had to apologize and fix those things because he realized being a basketball coach, sometimes you just can't be like that. And ever, since that moment, Rick Barnes doesn't cuss at his players. Or well, he might cuss. I don't really know, but you can tell the kind of guy Rick Barnes is. He doesn't really cuss, But what I took from that story is, as a basketball coach or as a human being in general, you have to grow up and you have to see things differently as you get older. And that's what Rick Barnes has done. And I think that's why his players and his teams and everyone around Rick Barnes talks so highly about him and loves him so much because he is a very down to earth guy. He's an honest person. He's going to keep it real with you. But you can be on the court with him and he can be in your grill talking crazy to you for 20 minutes, but as soon as you walk off the floor, he's cracking jokes with you. And that's what his players say. And that's what he spoke about also in that video, that it's sometimes it's confusing. Like, you was just going in on me on the court, but as soon as you step outside these four lines, we're best friends. We're cool. We're cracking jokes on each other, man. And you don't have a lot of coaches like that nowadays. You have a lot of egotistical guys who make millions of dollars a year, who, I won't say they won't care about their players, but sometimes it's very obvious they're just like, whatever, I'm still getting paid anyway, man. And Rick Barnes is the complete opposite of that. And watching that video, I got so much respect and gained so much love for Rick Barnes, man. So you guys, like I said, if you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it. I highly recommend it. And when you watch that video, I promise you will look at Rick Barnes completely different. And that's why I say Rick Barnes deserves it this year, man. Like, he deserves it, because you don't get that genuine side of coaches all the time. And he sat down, took his guard off in front of a bunch of people, talking to a minister, and just was himself and spoke on his mistakes, his past, on what he did and how he became better and how he overcame those things, man. So I really hope Tennessee wins it this year. I don't know if they do. I do think they at least get to the Elite Eight, but I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys because I highly recommend that you go see it, man. Rick Barnes is a man of the people and a man of God, and that's the kind of basketball coach / person you want around your child and coaching your child and building your child to become a great and successful young man. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm a little long-winded there, so I apologize. But
I think
I
I
wanted
think
to say
those
that.
experiences though, like that kind of experience, like it only affects you as better, like being better going forward. And like there's a lot of guys, not just Rick Barnes, who's obviously had like a tough back and forth years
Mhm.
when it comes to March, but guys like Vescovy and Sakai Ziegler, even guys in last year's team, against FAU, had that
Mhm.
run, like Jonas Adu, Mayshek, a lot of guys that can take that and get with these new guys and just kind of be able to build, from last year. Like obviously we say that every single year, but I think this year with this kind of roster, what we're kind of seeing, like Tennessee played without their two best players. Zakai Ziegler sounds like he's going to be able to go against Wisconsin. Vescovy obviously dealing with some family matters. I think he's back on campus today. So going forward for practice, I think we start the season Monday next week. Tennessee might be at full force. Like you have no idea, but just excited, man. Like a lot of these guys, it's just I feel like there's a chance to, really, really be special. And I don't want to get off topic, but I felt like it would be kind of crazy to talk about Tom Izzo and Rick Barnes and not talk about the late Bob Knight, man, 3-time NCAA championship winner. Obviously, the news breaking a few hours ago.
Rest in peace,
College
man.
basketball legend Bob Knight passing away.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
don't really realize and appreciate it until they're gone. Like I think
Yeah.
it hasn't gone our way in a lot of ways, but man, like what we have as a basketball program right now and what we have going into this year, like just kind of enjoy it, man. Like I don't know, anyone's going to complain. The Vol Nation's going to complain, but just kind of enjoy it. Like enjoy the good days while you have them.
look, man, I mean, this is the thing I got to say about Rick Barnes. Is like when he came here, right after we fired Donnie Tyndall in the middle of an NCAA investigation on him because we, Dave Hart and the athletic department didn't do a very good job on, scouting on Donnie Tyndall and really knowing the type of, coach and person that he is.
Good coach, though.
Good coach. Oh, he was a good coach. He was
good coach,
very
though. Yeah.
questionable character, but he's a good coach for sure.
Mhm.
But man, the program though that Rick Barnes inherited when he got here was nothing short of a dumpster fire. In fact, I would actually even argue in a sense that it might have been even more of a dumpster fire than Josh Heupel inherited when he first got here. But to turn that around within such a short span, and then not only just be a consistent top 25 team, but you've made 4 straight NCAA tournament appearances. We're consistently a top 10, top 15 basketball team every single year, getting top 15, top 10 recruiting classes, bringing in 5-star talent, getting guys drafted, on a yearly basis now. I mean, the work that he's done, and I actually, to a degree, and I mean, I'm curious about y'all's thoughts on this. I think it's actually been taken for granted tremendously by our fan base.
100%.
I mean,
100%.
because
They're doing it to Josh Heupel.
lie,
He's in
man.
year 3, and they're doing it to Josh Heupel right now.
And my thing is like the consistency that we've had in this program has been unbelievable. There's only a handful of programs in college basketball that have been consistently as good as we have been the last 5-6 years. You can look, it could go down disaster quick. Look at Louisville. Louisville just lost to Kentucky Wesleyan.
Smokey the Dog Nation, I appreciate you. Smokey the Dog Nation, I appreciate you. I will be going to Louisville.
But I mean, Kentucky or Louisville is a complete disaster, man. I mean, 4 wins last year. I mean, an absolute dumpster fire. It could be a whole lot worse. I mean, the fact that we're talking about consistently, it's not even the fact that like we're like, well, let's hope we make the NCAA tournament. Like that's already a given. Like we're going to make the tournament. We're now at the point as a program. Is this going to be the year where we make Final Four? Is this going to be the year where we make the first round? And I mean,
say what you want about Dabo, but this is the point he was making right here. What you're making, Drew.
Exactly.
It goes all around, man. It goes all around.
I mean, and there's bounce backs. There's always going to be down years with programs. But man, the thing is that we don't have many years left with Rick Barnes as our head coach for Tennessee basketball, and we got to appreciate it because it's going to be soon. I mean, I don't know if it's this year. I don't know if it's next year. It might be 3 years down the line, but man, he's going to retire within the next 5 years. And when we look back at his career, we're going to say that's the greatest coach in Tennessee basketball history.
And I think like I said just a few minutes ago, man, you got to enjoy the good times while you have them. But there's a lot of people like me, man, that really didn't understand where Tennessee basketball came from. Like a lot of us, when football was going bad, we saw Grant and Admiral and, light this program on fire. And I think a lot of people, saw Rick Barnes' history. Obviously the March, resume, whatever, but they kind of saw where Tennessee basketball was trending, not realizing how big of a project it really was. And they saw greatness in front of their eyes and they were like, holy shit, like this is something I can get behind. They weren't there kind of for the process. And I got spoiled about that until I really realized, what Rick Barnes has to go through as a coach, how he's having his staff, bringing in these guys that are gone the next year, going and being, Power 5 or Group of 5 head coaches and, being great basketball coaches. Like, he's not just doing it, man. You look at the man's like family tree, everyone that's coaching the Barnes, like they don't have success like they do for no reason. And yeah, like he hasn't won the big one, but a lot of teams can say they have not won the big one, man. Like, it's absolutely crazy. And if it's this year, next year, or however long, man, whenever Rick Barnes finally gets his piece and finally is at peace with his career, I think we're definitely going to realize. Obviously, it's up to Danny White to continue his hot streak of hiring amazing head coaches. But right now, in the presence, you gotta witness greatness, man. The man is a Hall of Famer, whether he wins a championship or not, in my opinion. And he's an even better man than a basketball coach. You should not want, like, find me someone else as a man that you want representing your program and tell me, like, there's an actual argument besides being, I want Pearl back, some crazy shit like that, man. Like,
I was guilty of it too, man. Yeah. I was too. I did it too, and I'll admit that out loud. I'm not afraid to say that. I stand on what I say, but I was a little hard on Rick Barnes. I won't lie to you. Now, don't get it twisted. Now, the criticism is absolutely warranted. Don't get it twisted.
Of course.
Because you ain't recruited no shooters the last 2 years, and the shooters that you did recruit didn't pan out. So the criticism was absolutely warranted. But I was definitely a little bit too hard on Rick Barnes and this basketball team, man. And watching this football team this season, and basketball season coming up, has just made me realize that, man, I need to be more thankful with the team that I love, because we were in some pretty dark days on the football side, the basketball side, the baseball side, the softball side. A lot of sports at Tennessee haven't been that great the last 10, 15 years. But anyway, Tony Vitello, baseball is now top 5 team, just went to the World Series. Rick Barnes, top 10 basketball team every year. Every year, top 10 basketball team in the last 5 years. Every single year, they've reached that number 10, if I'm not mistaken. Football, the last 2 years, 3 years, this is year 3, but the last 2 years, Josh Heupel has turned this program around, man, and I'm thankful.
2 best years since 2007.
Exactly. I am thankful for what I'm seeing right now, because 15 years ago, I was not happy with Tennessee athletics. But Danny White, Donde Plowman, Josh Heupel, Tony Vitello, and Rick Barnes, and to every other coach that I don't know, I apologize to you because the sports aren't that popular. Karen Weekly, thank you. You have made me a very happy man the last 3, 4, 5 years, and I was ungrateful and I was not appreciative as I should have been, but now I am. So to Tennessee athletics, thank you.
It's almost like every other Vol Facebook fan could be like Rob and take something and learn something from Rob. It's fucking crazy. Holy shit.
Look, man, the whole entire thing is you got to look at it from perspective. And it's like what Rob said. 10, 11 years ago, you're talking about we had Derek Dooley's our football coach, Konzo Martner's our basketball coach, and Todd Riley is our baseball coach. And all 3 bottom tier programs in the conference. I mean, and you're talking about we have cross baseball, cross basketball, and cross football, all our coaches respectively.
Softball and baseball just went to the World Series, man. Exactly. Like, we got to be more thankful, bro. We have to be, because when the dark days come again, you're going to do exactly what you was doing a few years ago. Man, I missed the time Philip Fulmer was here. Man, I missed the time that, you're going to do it. Every program does it, but I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to be thankful each and every day that I wake up and the team that I love is out there being successful. Even when they're not good, I'm still going to watch them. But I'm thankful now that I have something to really cheer about, something to brag on. I am in the middle of butt F nowhere in Colorado, and you can bet your ass I wear this every single day. Quick story. I ran into one of Jason Swain's old teammates the other day at freaking Safeway. I'm walking in with Tennessee clothes on, and he's like, "You a Tennessee fan?" I'm like, "Clearly, I got Tennessee clothes on." And he's like, "Man, I played at Tennessee. You know Jason Swain?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know Jason Swain." He's like, "Man, that was my teammate." I'm like, "What the heck?" So I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? Small world, man. You don't see, it's not that many Tennessee fans out here, but I'm wearing this Power T on my chest every single day because I'm glad and thankful on what Tennessee athletics is doing right now. I suggest everyone else does the same. And if you don't want to do that, that is fine, but shut the hell up.
And
I just wanted to go ahead. Go ahead, Brandon. No, you go ahead.
No.
Mine's not basketball related or Tennessee related. Like, it's just a closing note. You get your jab in.
And my thing is as well, when it comes to like what our expectations should be for this basketball team for this season, man, I don't know. I mean, this is one of the most talented, if not the most talented team Rick Barnes has ever had here. I don't know if we're going to make a Final Four. I don't know if we'll make an Elite Eight. I mean, it's the most unpredictable sport in college athletics by far, in my opinion. But man, just enjoy the season, dude. This team has so much talent. There's going to be so many great games, great opponents, whether we're playing the Maui Invitational, playing in Chapel Hill against North Carolina, playing Illinois, and I mean, there's going to be so many great conference opponents with Arkansas and Kentucky and A&M and Alabama. Just enjoy the season, dude. Don't like ride or die every single game where if one of our guys have a hiccup, that the world's crashing down, the meteor's coming here and killing us all. Like, just relax. It's going to be a fun basketball season. We're going to be a consistent top 10 team. Who knows? We might even get a number 1 ranking at some point in the year. We definitely have the potential for that for sure. But just enjoy it, man. I mean, this is very rare when you have all 3 major sports across the board being consistent top 10 teams now. I mean, or top 25. My apologies. But just enjoy the ride, and whatever the hell happens, man, it happens. I mean, simple as that.
Bingo. That's how I'm gonna go into my closing statement, and I'll let y'all have a closing statement as well, man. But we talk about enjoying the good times, not being Negavols. This weekend, not only like is it just homecoming, but it's a perfect time to do just that. November, man, Alzheimer's awareness, official month of Alzheimer's awareness. This Saturday, Tennessee obviously bringing out the blue decals for the late Pat Summitt, and you talk about greatness and something that you took for granted and probably didn't really appreciate. Me as a younger guy did not really understand what was going on and like the legacy she had. You can go and show up for homecoming, man, whether you're in the game or outside or just, showing up to tailgate, whatever. You can, put your money where your mouth is. You can appreciate greatness. Every single proceed and fund from this Saturday. They even have $1 collective cups and memorial cups where you can, donate $1 to Alzheimer's awareness. Everything, just putting forward to the research that'll go directly to the UT Medical Research Facility. And, just, appreciate, man, like showing thanks to what has been. And obviously that's a big point for me this weekend. I know we're not worried about UConn, but if someone really did care about their games against UConn, it was Pat Summitt, man. And probably the greatest to ever do it in her sport. So this game is obviously not against Gene. It's obviously not against their women's basketball team, but just, the whole moment of, the memorial. I'm sure a lot of tears will be there before, kickoff. And just appreciate it, man. Like you can really be good and do good with what Tennessee and all Tennessee athletics is giving you. And even though it's homecoming, even though it's a noon kickoff, even though it's probably going to be so cold, man, just come out there and show you a VFL, man. Just be great, love one another. I know we're over here being positive and shit on ATB, but man, someone's got to say it.
Yeah, man, we have to, man. And my closing remarks will be, man, it was fun this week. I appreciated it, man. We appreciate each and every one of you every week sending us, messages, questions, whatever the case may be. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. Also, shout out to the homie Lo. She is traveling right now for work. She just landed and just left, just took off in the air. So she will not be with us. She was not with us for that reason today. Yeah, she was not with us today for that reason. She's traveling, but she's good. All is well on her end, and safe travels to her, man. And at the end of the
Alex
day,
over there being a doctor in Miami and
GBO, man. Always GBO.
Yeah, I mean, my last comments, things like that, man, is just enjoy the last 3 home games we got for football. It seems like, dude, football.
You're gonna be pissed off when it ain't no more football. You're gonna be on YouTube.
And I mean, we got the home opener for Tennessee basketball Monday against Tennessee Tech. I mean, get yourself a ticket, 6:30 tip off, make it a rowdy atmosphere, make college football or college basketball media and the players realize why this is one of the best environments in college basketball. And obviously, not involved for life or involved great, but RIP to Bobby Knight. Whatever your thoughts or opinions are, and there could have been more of a polar opposite than Rick Barnes, but he is one of the all-time greats, one of the greatest coaches of all time, one of the very few, individuals where he won a national title as a player and as a head coach, especially. So, I mean, RIP to an absolute legend.
Man, this weekend, it's not only, just excited for me to be there at homecoming, but it'll also be my sister and my 2 nephews and her fiance's first time in Knoxville, in Neyland Stadium. My sister like went to pretty much
First time.
First time in Neyland Stadium. So,
what are you doing?
Hey man, money's tight, man. Money's tight.
Listen, bro, if you want me to go in the
sister-
corner and slang for you, I will, bro. We got to get them back in Knoxville more often.
For sure. This one is like kind of, you know, personal for my sister. My sister played a lot of middle school and high school basketball, and even whenever she could, she would attend, you know, Pat Summit's camps. So this UConn game, obviously has nothing to do with that, but you know, reminding her of her legacy there at Tennessee, first time in Neyland. There's not a lot of hate about UConn, especially in football, but it's been a fun week. Obviously, we're going in there expecting a W. And if you really want to carry the fight, man, I think Kentucky and their players, what they did pregame, this video footage coming out has lit a fire on Vol Nation and Vol Twitter. So if you want to just go over there and drag Kentucky for being poverty, feel free to join us on the Vols ATB or the Vol Scoops Twitter. We'll carry the fight all week long. But, I mean, this weekend, man, it should be fun. You know, injury-free. Let's have a blast. Enjoy it. Homecoming. A lot of these guys gave their all for Tennessee for 4 to 5 to 6 years. And this will be their second to last time probably being in Neyland Stadium. So,
man.
I'm looking at guys like Ollie Lane, Dane Davis, Jackson Lansley, like a bunch of guys that really gave their all that we let the Dragon make fun of, but guys that really, they love to be here, man. They would not be here if they did not want to be a Tennessee Vol.
And at the end of the day, they're doing it and we're not.
For sure, man.
Exactly.
We're behind a fucking message board and shit. So, jam-packed Saturday. Excited for basketball next week. I think we'll be able to cover the first game on our next Wednesday show. Should be a jam-packed one. Hopefully a full effort one if we can get our boy Alex with us too. But man, just want to go into Neyland, get this W, walk out, and start some Eli Drinkowitz trash talk. So
yeah, man.
Kentucky
fans, go to hell. That's my final remarks. Kentucky fans, go to hell.
Well,
back in that coal mine. Back in that coal mine where you belong.
Food City is so much better than Kroger. Holy shit. But
GBO, baby. Take that smoke show with you to hell, too.
Vols ATB also, so you can also catch us on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcast. We'll be back here next week. But until then, good night. Go Vols, baby.
Go to hell, Kentucky. GBO.